At last, my watch is over. Mostly. After 2 weeks of up and downs with Call of Duty Black Ops 7 Zombies mode, my feelings are mixed. I think this version has all the things that make Zombies good. A cleverly designed questline, a cool map, the joy and despondence of the mystery box, and Call of Duty's consistently fun gunplay. But those returning strengths don't shine this year the way they usually do, with an Easter egg hunt that's too big, too time-consuming, and too unwieldy to wholeheartedly recommend. It's not bad, per se, but it can be frustrating in a way that might make you bow out early. And that's lousy. I come with a confession. My squad and I, brave souls who conquered Call of Duty Black Ops 6's Zombies mode last year and several others before, have not beaten Black Ops 7's signature Ashes of the Damned map at the time of this review. Instead, the attempt fractured our group, perhaps permanently. One member threw up his hands and simply walked away after a particularly devastating loss, leaving us down a man. Another was temporarily banned from our Discord after our last best run. We were so close, friends, so tantalizingly close. And we came up short. Well, Will, you might reasonably ask, why issue a review if you haven't finished it? A few reasons. First, because we always try learning the map and discovering the process for ourselves, because that's how the average person will do it. Second, because our failure mirrors what I feel many other teams will experience playing Ashes of the Damned. And third, because I have seen damn near everything the mode has to offer except the finale itself, and I already have a good idea of what Ashes of the Damned is. A very good map that can be exceptionally frustrating and often doesn't work as it should, especially if you use matchmaking to team up with random players. There is allegedly a story here. Your characters are dropped somewhere into the dark aether where they run into a guy called the Warden, who looks like the sexy ghoul from the Fallout TV series. After transmogrifying you into the semi-living by having a weird skull and a bird cage sap some of your life essence away like he's the six-fingered man from The Princess Bride, you're dropped into Ashes of the Damned and left to figure out what the hell is going on. All of it is very well produced and so goofy that the only thing I could do was watch the introductory cutscene while emulating the face I imagine a cow would make if you gave it cocaine, chuckle a little, and get on with it. Yeah, choosing certain characters gives you more story dialogue, but there's nothing crazy here unless you're already far too invested into Zombies lore. If that's your bag, Godspeed. I'm here to shoot stuff.
Welcome to the party.
The gameplay here is similar to last year's. What's new are the maps. Van Dorn Farm is there for your classic round-based survival attempts on a smaller map. Dead Ops Arcade for something a bit more ridiculous, and Cursed for the ultra-hardcore. But the 7-course dinner of it all is Ashes of the Damned, the Easter egg-heavy how does anyone figure any of this out gauntlet that has you opening new paths with currency you earn, consuming Gobblegums if you want a mid-battle pick-me-up that can make a run easier, and upgrading your guns as you go.
Fresh, bullet-fueled madness on the way.
Ashes of the Damned is utterly massive, a monstrous figure 8 with several subsections that in years past might have stood alone as individual maps. Now they're all connected by roads you'll travel in a truck called Old Tessie. I love Old Tessie. You can stand on the roof and lean out her windows, and she's your way to and from places without dying, short of the jump pads you can activate.
Always take the high road.
Early on, she also becomes your pack-a-punch machine, which juices any gun you use it on. So something as simple as where you park her becomes a lot more important. You can also slot her with her turbo booster and 3 monster heads that shoot lightning. Tessie forever. A lot of our runs began the same way. Get Tessie outfitted, pray to pull the ray gun at the randomized mystery box,
I don't know how, but it feels like this stupid box is smirking at me.
or brute force it with a Gobblegum, and then start doing the rest of the Easter eggs. Doing the map right means doing it quickly, before the round count gets too high and the zombies get too strong. There's a fun sense of mastery here that I appreciate, especially since so many games now are about making your numbers go up, and not actually improving as a player. All the wacky zombie stuff is still here. At one point you have to throw an axe at the foot of a zombie hanging from a barn and then use a Molotov cocktail to turn the severed foot into bones you can use for something else. Another time you're killing zombies inside of an old diner until one of them drops a key to the refrigerator in the back, carrying a pretty grotesque surprise. It's goofy and fun, and I don't know how anybody solves this stuff through anything other than trial and error, much less how the dev team comes up with it every year. This is what makes zombies hard. Not only do you have to figure out all these steps, but you have to do them in order and remember where everything is on the map, and do all of it without your team dying. A full zombies clear will take you several hours, and if you screw up late in that process, you'll need to restart from scratch. You will lose every Gobblegum you spent, every weapon you jacked up with a pack-a-punch, every perk you guzzled from a soda machine, and do everything you just did all over again.
Ugh, that is one grody-ass fizzy drink.
I don't actually mind this. I like learning the ins and outs of the game system, mastering it, and watching what felt impossible become routine. But my zombies group has always been made up of regular guys with 9 to 5s who play Call of Duty to unwind. That perspective has always felt essential to doing a review like this right, and this year Zombies was too much for some of them. Part of that is because how big Ashes of the Damned is. It's a well-designed, varied map with a ton of different environments, but its sheer size means it can take a minute to get from point A to point B, even with Old Tessie or a jump pad, and you'll have to go all over creation to finish it. The other issue is the number of steps involved to get things done. It's a lot to remember, a lot to execute, and you're expected to do all of it in one run without all of you dying. Using one of the rare Gobblegums that loads you up with every perk and then failing on a run feels bad because you've lost a limited resource with little to show for it. Naturally, you can buy Gobblegum packs for real money because of course, right? The whole thing feels like it's hard because it wants you to give in and open your wallet and just buy stuff that will make it easier. And that's assuming the map works properly. At one point you have to use stun grenades to wake up a robot named Klaus. He'll join up with you afterwards.
I'm pretty sure I had an atomic weapon when I arrived.
And you can command him to interact with a computer that will then trigger a retinal scan that someone in your group has to stare at until a meter fills up. If everything's working right, you can just have someone do that while the rest of the crew defends them. But we ran into an issue where Klaus wouldn't activate the control panel no matter how many times we commanded him to. He eventually just left, and we were forced to spend valuable currency to bring him back. That time he did activate the panel, but no matter how hard I stared at the retina scanner, the little bar wouldn't go up. Needless to say, we died.
Someone get me back in the fight!
Before you ask, yes, I know the tricks to make it easier. Kill all but one zombie that you kite around so the next wave doesn't spawn, make sure everyone has a self-revive, load up with perks and armor and so on. All of that adds interesting depth, but if you screw up and you all die, it doesn't matter how good the run was because, aside from whatever account progression you earned during it, it all gets wiped away. After a ton of attempts, I understand why some folks just throw up their hands and spend their limited time on this earth doing something else. After our best run, where we got really close to the end before it all came crashing down, one of our best guys just refused to play anymore. Afterwards, he said to me, "I already have a job and it's really stressful. The last thing I need is to come home and deal with this nonsense." I wonder how many people are going to try Ashes of the Damned and come to a similar conclusion. That sentiment feels like an indictment of this year's Zombies. It's so big and long and unforgiving that a lot of people simply won't be able to complete it naturally, even if they do know all the steps, because they'll have bad teammates or get unlucky or just get discouraged after failing so many times. It also feels more than a little pay to win with the Gobblegum situation, and with how much simply grinding levels improves your chances because you have better stuff. If all you want to do is play zombies, both of these things drag the experience down. I'm not saying it shouldn't be a challenge, but it probably shouldn't have people comparing it to their job either. The biggest problem we ran into was other people. We had teammates that ran off and left the rest of us to die, teammates that barely contributed or didn't collaborate at all, and so on. In fact, basically every good run we had early on was derailed by our match-made 4th player. I cannot imagine trying to do this with an entirely match-made group. Eventually, I just turned off autofill and we ran a group of 3 when our 4th couldn't make it. I'm of two minds about Zombies this year. I think Ashes of the Damned is a good map when it works, and that playing it with a good group is enjoyable. I think the core of do all the Easter eggs designed is still quite strong. I also think this map is too damn big, that this year's Easter egg hunt takes too long to do in a single sitting, and that the experience when you're match-made with other players is miserable. The map being this difficult in a game that is more than happy to sell you impactful Gobblegums for real money also just feels bad. I wouldn't blame anyone for bowing out before they saw the end, though I am still personally determined to keep going. I can't call this iteration of Zombies bad, but it feels like a remnant of something greater, a shambling corpse that reminds us of the man it used to be. See you next year. For more Black Ops 7, check out our standalone reviews of the campaign or the multiplayer modes, and for everything else in gaming, keep it here at IGN.